Kadosh, Boker Or. I wanted to share with you an incredible question, right? With also a few different answers. Rivka Imenu comes and she's troubled. She's pregnant. She was waiting such a long time for this pregnancy, 20 years. Finally, she's pregnant. And all of a sudden, she has a contradiction in herself. She doesn't know what to do. She passes by a house of Avodah Zarah, boom, starts kicking as if he wants to go out. Passes by the Yeshiva Shem, boom, starts kicking, wants to go out. So what happens? She goes to find out what's going on. So she goes to the rabbis. We have a question. Why doesn't she go to Yitzchak Avinu? Why doesn't she go to her husband? Her husband's not a big enough rabbi. Her husband's Yitzchak Avinu. Or even more so, go to her father. Avraham Avinu is still alive. Avraham Avinu only passed away when the children were 15. Very simple calculation. Avraham Avinu was 100 years old when Yitzchak was born. So therefore, if Yitzchak has the twins at the age of 60, so Avraham is 160. If Avraham Avinu passed away at 175, he was 15 years. And that's why he said it was right after the bar mitzvah of the twins, right? And that's when they completely started going to two different paths. And Esav saw all his rishut for the respect of Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu passed away at 175 instead of 180. So, but why didn't she go to Avraham? Why didn't she go to her husband, to Yitzchak? Abraham's the father-in-law, Yitzchak's the husband. She goes to Yeshiva Shem. What's going on? Yeah? Rashi brings it down. V'telech nidrosh et Hashem lebet midrasho shel Shem. Yeah? So the Radak actually asks this. The Radak comes, Rabbi David Kimchi. He comes and he asks, ואם הוא מלכי צדק היה בירושלים, למה נאמר שניח אברהם אבינו שהייתה עמו? והיה נביא גדול והלכה לירושלים. Why did she go? Why did she leave Avraham Avinu? Avraham Avinu was still alive, right, for another 15 years. And when it says, ותלך לדרוש את השם, maybe Avraham Avinu was בבית אחד עם תורה ובניה, but that doesn't make sense. Why is that she didn't go to Avraham, or Yitzchak, or she herself with the Neviah? Why didn't she ask him Nevuah? So there, on this, there's going to be 10 different answers. I'll give you a few of them. 10 answers why she didn't go. The first one is Reb Chaim Paltiel. Reb Chaim Paltiel comes and he says, the reason why she didn't go to the Beit HaMikdash of her father-in-law is because she thought that she wanted to come and to have an abortion. And she thought that if it's going to be this tzar of Shnei Goyim B'Difnech, if she would go to her father-in-law, even if it was permitted, he wouldn't permit it because of his own son. Which means it was a tendency of at the end of the day, the father-in-law, he knows that his son has been asking for children. The father-in-law wants grandchildren. He's going to tell her now, go and commit an abortion because of a balagan that's happening. So because of that, she didn't want to go to the father-in-law. The Ramban, Nachmanides, explains, "Vatelech lidrosh et Hashem." He says, "La'agiv ma yeh besofa, ve'lo matzati dirisha etzel Hashem rak litpalel." He says, no, it's tefillah, right? Right? Ketam derashi et Hashem vanani. Right? Or Dishul Vichyu, Chayani Neum Hashem. So meaning that the Ramban is not arguing on the Midrash. Really, Be'emet, she wanted to ask Hashem b'nevuah. But the Drisha was Tfilah. She went to the Beit HaMidrash of Shem because that's where people used to go and pray. And that's where they used to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Be'emet, it wasn't that Shem went and Shem answered her. It could be really she went to the Beit HaMidrash to pray. And there, that's the place of the best place of getting Nevuah. And that's why it says Hashem answered her. Not that Shem answered her. It doesn't say anywhere Hashem answered her. The Shem answered her. It just said Hashem. So that's a pashut. Vayomer Hashem la shnei goyim b'nech. It's much more that she was the one that had the Neviut. And that's why Rashi says, Al yidei shaliach l'Shem ne'amar b'ruch HaKodesh v'hu amar la'Hashem. Right? It comes from Yerushalmi. Right? But it's kilu ha'meturgeman. Maybe it was through her. The Mizrahi, another one of the Yishonim, he comes and he explains. The Bereshit Rabbah comes and it says, Yomer Hashem La. This is the third answer. He says, Rabbi Levi in the name of Chanina Bar Chama comes and he says through a malach. But there are other people who say, no, Shem ben Noach. Now, we actually know that there's 48 Nevi'im, and there's 7 Nevi'ot that gave Nevuah to Israel. Sarah, Miriam, Chulda, Esther, Abigail, Chana, Deborah. Rivka is not there. So the fact that she went to a Navi, and it says, Yomer Hashem La, obviously means that it had to be through a Navi. And it wasn't through herself, right? So therefore, it could be that she knew that the Beit HaMidrash of Shem was muflag b'chokhmah lefi Kabbalah, so therefore she went dafka there, right? And not that it was like, because of the, and obviously he says, so this is not like the explanation that she was a Neviah, that she knew about the taking away of the Berachot. Okay, that's going to be the third answer. A fourth answer, the Maharal Prague. Maral Mipra comes and he asks this question, and he says, it's not because of the chet, yesh la tzara gvul kol kach. He says, the rabbis say, Nashim tzadkaniyot, the big tzadkaniyot, they don't have kasher kavah, they don't have suffering in labor or in childbirth, right? Or in labor or during the pregnancy, as it's brought down in the Gemara Sotah Yubet Amgaleh. But he says she was afraid shetikane b'nei bala or sheyomar Avraham Yitzchak she'ena aduna lo. Meaning she was afraid that 1 second, if I'm going to go and I'm going to go to my father-in-law, maybe it's going to be bad in the eyes of my husband and in the eyes of my father-in-law. He's going to say, you know what, why don't we get married to somebody else? Like, what's going on? She's having children which are not fit, this, that. She was afraid. So because of that, she didn't go to her father-in-law. She didn't go to her husband. The Siftei Chachamim answer, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it purposely, right? That Avraham will not know about the pregnancy in order that he shouldn't suffer. Because Avraham, right, he died before Esav went on a bad path. So therefore it comes out, right, that because of that, purposely, Hashem made it that she didn't go to Avraham. Because if Abraham's going to say, no, you're going to have a Rasha, he might have died right then and there because he would have suffered. What about Yitzchak? She didn't go to Yitzchak because if Yitzchak would have known that he's going to be a Rasha, he would never even given him the berachot to Esav. Which means that Hashem did it purposely, that in a way that Yitzchak was going to get the berachot to Esav. And therefore he didn't know about this story. But that's the answer of Siftei Chachamim, which I think is actually an incredible answer. Okay, Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, this is the 6th answer. He comes and he says like this: Vatomer im ken is connected. Vatomer im ken with the tamim, with the truck, with the cancellations, they're all connected. What does it mean that they're all connected? He says, Vatomer biyot laken, lama ani chasha. He says, why am I doing this? This is not normal. So Vatelek, she wanted to know, she went to Shem that they received it from Noach to lidros the Shem and to find out what's going on. So he comes and he says, there's something different. And therefore she went, because she said, for something, this never happened, like as if that never happened. So it never happened. What's going on? So he says, Shalom. Also, we could actually say, Kevin Shitrotzatsu, right? He says, it could be that maybe it started moving by the Yeshiva Shem Eved, and maybe she said, you know what, let me go inside, let's see what's going on. Right? It could be that she did ask them, but they didn't have an answer. That's another answer. Or that she didn't want to make them, suffer, right? Or all these things. But the last answer, which I think is beautiful also, is there's a very famous concept. En chabush matir et atzmo mibet asurim, which means that a person that's tied up cannot free himself from the jail. And therefore, she didn't go to her father-in-law or to her husband, but rather she went to Shem, which was for a few generations. And after a few generations, it's not considered tzar anymore, right? That you could permit that. Which means basically what's happening is that, because when it says, there was nothing. She went to the Bet Midrash to teach you that somebody which was makbil penez zaken, makbil penez shchina, that's where she wanted to go. She wanted to go where the shchina was. So therefore she went to the Bet Midrash of Shem. But she couldn't go to her husband or to her father-in-law because they can't permit her to get out of the jail. If there's something wrong, they can't help her in that sense. So that's why, right, she had to specifically go to the yeshiva of Shem.